Here's the ARC power lever. We're going to give you some tips on installing these on the clutch and brake of this bike right now. This video will help you if you have the regular ARC levers. The regular ARC levers have all the benefits of the folding capabilities, lifetime warranty, American made, high quality, completely adjustable, all those same features with the addition of these adjustable chips. What these adjustable chips allow you to do is to change the actual ratio and feel of the clutch. It can make it softer pull or harder pull. Same thing for the brake side. These chips have different numbers. It comes with 3, ranging from 14 and 19. We'll go over that as we install, but they simply go in, and as they turn, it'll change the actual ratio and feel that you feel at the lever. First thing we're going to do is just pull this rubber boot off, get it out of the way. We'll put it back on later. Okay, here we have 2 8mm on here. We're just going to loosen these up. On these KTM bikes, this isn't usually very tight. You just want to break off that locking nut on the bottom, just like so. And now you can pull this out. Now I'm going to push on the lever, take a little pressure off, and I can pull out the bolt. And this is where you kind of want to go slow so you don't lose your spring here or the plunger that goes to the master, just like this. At this point right here, we're going to save this with our lever because we're not going to use this with the ARC install. On this stock lever, we're going to pull this bushing out. We can simply drop this bushing into the new ARC lever. Okay, we have our adjustable chips. We're going to start with the 16, 17 chips. And it's better to start in the middle there. You can be in 16 or 17 to get a feel for it, ride it, feel that clutch. Same thing with the brake. You want to get a feel for it before you go to one end of the spectrum or not. You can be a little safer that way. I'm going to drop in our chip, and I have the 17 facing this way. You can see the offsets going this way. So we're going to push it in here, just like so. And then we can keep a little pressure on it while we line up with the hole on the lever. I'm going to drop the nut on here. Now, one thing guys will sometimes do on some bikes is over tighten these, and you'll risk the lever actually not moving or binding up. So you don't want to over tighten. The nut is a locking nut, so it should snug up right there. So right here, there's an adjuster for the free play adjustment on this lever. Right now, there is 0 play to the plunger. That's not good. So we're going to back off, and we want to make sure that we have a little bit of play before it hits the plunger. So we're going to back off like this. And now we can feel that we have a lot of play. So now we're going to come back a little bit more. We want to have just a little bit. Keep that nut tight. So right here, you want to make sure that you have a little bit of play, and you want to have a feeler gauge or some little bit of a thick paper. You just want to make sure that it has a little bit of play right there. If it doesn't have play, it's going to be dragging on that clutch and doing damage to your clutch. Now I'm ready to tighten this jam nut right here. I can get it good and snug so that it's in place and I still have my play. Now my next adjustment is making sure that the lever is where I want to have it. And right now it's just at a generic setting, and I'm going to bring it out to here to where I want to have a little bit better feel and more throw in my fingers. I can pull the lever back like this to get in here to break loose this little jam nut right here, like so. And then usually you can do it with your fingers. You can also use a screwdriver in here to loosen this if you need to this way. Maybe if it's older or froze up in there at all, you could do that. So you can go both ways, just like this. So now, by me going in, it's actually brought it closer to my finger, and then I can grab it and go out further. That feels pretty good. Now that I'm at a setting I like to start with, I'm going to make sure one of these grooves are catching right into here on the knee here of the lever. This bolt here will have a little home right onto this little fin. So you want to hold it there, and we can back this jam nut right down to here and jam this thing tight so it wants to stay in place. Okay, so this jam nut is now where I want it. I have the proper feel. You can jam it with your fingers like that. If it can't go anywhere if it does loosen, but if you want to feel better about it, you could actually throw some pliers on here and snug it a little bit. It's probably better to have it in the fin area when you do tighten it, snug it so it stays in place. When you snug it up, if you use a pliers on it, you want to make sure you just be cautious. It doesn't have to be very tight, just snug. What that's going to mean though is when you're at the track and you want to adjust it, you're going to need to get pliers out again. If you just do it hand tight with your gloves on, you can usually loosen it up. I like to sit on the bike and get a feel for that lever position. With some times you'll need to move the lever, whether the perch, you could loosen this up and move it in or out, depending upon where you like that feel. Right now it feels pretty good where it's at for me. Now it's time to get our rubber boot back on. If we do need to go back and adjust, it's easier and better just to have this boot off. One of the nice things with the Arc is it fits well with the stock boot on the bikes. You want to make sure you're fully seated and in the proper grooves, just like that. For those that want the Arc boot, those are available as well that would get rid of your stock boot. Now it's time to do the front brake. We're going to pull off the boot. It's going to be a lot of the same tips we did on the clutch side. Let's get this front brake one installed. So we're going to remove this. On this side, for some reason, KTM Brembo has a 10mm nut and bolt. So we just break those loose. So I'm going to pull the bolt out just like on the brake, and I'm going to watch for that spring. We're not going to use the stock spring. So we are going to put our chip in here. We're going to put it at the 17 to give us the kind of maximum feel of the medium range. Again, that's just like the clutch. 14 and 19 is that range. So now we're going to just simply install just like this. This one doesn't have a sleeve like the clutch side. The bolt takes up that area. I'm going to put a dab of grease on here. I can kind of push the lever, get it lined up, drop her down. Now we're going to put our nut on here. I like to do this straight away because you don't want to forget this or leave this loose. Again, you don't want to over tighten this, risk damaging the master here or making it too tight for the lever to move. So again, now we have our play here. We have just about the right amount of play, and we don't want to have not enough play. And if you have zero play, that's going to be dragging the system, whether it's on the brake or the clutch, and it could cause severe problems. So you want to make sure you have play. Now I'm going to come in here and tighten that jam nut just like on the other side. So now we have our gap here, and you could check those with feeler gauges to make sure you got a good gap. Also, especially with a brake or the clutch, but really the brake, once you get this thing hot, you're going to want to recheck it again the first time to make sure that it's not tightening up. So now we get to adjust this in here. We're going to adjust this to where it has proper feel for us. And this is going to be an individual thing where you like that lever, you know, and how short of fingers or how long of fingers you have. Right there, it feels a little bit out too far for me. I have a little shorter fingers, so I'm going to bring it in. Right there, it feels pretty good. That's a great starting spot. Now I got this jam nut. I'm going to back that down. Stay in that little thin area. I'm going to tighten that. Get that jam nut good and tight. While I'm staying in here, while it's touched into that fin, I can tighten it up, and it's not going to turn. Just like that. That feels great. Okay, I got the boot back on. Make sure you get it all the way into its groove. If it's off a little bit, that's going to mess with your brake or clutch action. That's a wrap. We got our levers installed. I've checked position. I really like these things. Everything feels good. It's a fairly simple install, but as simple as it is, if you're not comfortable, if you mess something up in this, it could be catastrophic to your clutch performance or to your brake. Could cause you to crash. So seek a good help from a mechanic, or take it to a shop, or you can call Arc directly. Very simple. They're open 8 to 5 California hours, Monday through Friday, that kind of thing. Very simple. Also, you can hit up the Arc website at arclevers.com to learn more. We'll see you guys next time.